So when your new Curative Sound shockwave unit arrives, when you unbox it, what you'll notice are a few things. So once open, you're going to have your case that has all of your components, as well as a user manual. There's also going to be a shoulder strap that the unit can be put into to be carried around the hospital. And then underneath that, there's also going to be a gel that's going to be used to create coupling between your patient and the unit. So inside the case, once you open it, you'll notice there's going to be various components to the unit. We have our plug in for the charger, the base that our battery will go into for when we go to charge it, and then there's also going to be 2 batteries that come with the unit. So to charge, this is simply just going to be plugged into the base. You're then going to be able to plug into the charger and plug into the wall to facilitate charging of the battery. Also included is the coupling oil that will be used to couple between the unit and our standoff. There's going to be various standoffs that's going to help with determining our depth of penetration of our impulses. And then we're going to have the unit itself that's going to generate the impulses. So to use the unit, we're first going to place a battery by turning the unit over, taking the back casing off, putting our battery in. To turn the unit on, we're then going to hold down the power button that's located here, and you'll see that it's going to light up. As that's happening, you'll notice the screen will light up and we'll have our main menu. A few features to point out. One, we can see the small battery symbol. For example, the focal depth and the energy deliverance. That is going to be determined once we put a standoff onto the unit to treat our patients. So to treat a patient, we're first going to use some coupling oil, and we're going to simply apply a very small amount to the unit itself. We're going to evenly distribute that along the base of the unit. We're then going to take the standoff we've chosen to treat our patient. We're going to remove the dust cover. We're going to use the excess oil to line our standoff. Next, we're going to place the standoff onto the unit. So once we've applied our standoff, it's now registering the focal depth, and in this case we've chosen a 2 millimeter standoff. It's also registering the energy deliverance. We do have the ability to adjust the amount of energy that's being delivered by pressing the minus button to go down and pressing the plus button to go up. We can also set our shock count to however many shocks we want to deliver. We can go down by pressing the minus. We can go up by pressing the plus. In addition to adjusting for our energy deliverance, the number of shocks, we can also adjust the frequency. It's recommended to leave it at 10, but if we would like to change the frequency, we can go down by hitting the minus, and we can go up by hitting the plus. Once we've chosen our desired frequency, to go back to the main menu, we're going to hit the return arrow. So if we would like to change our standoff, we're simply going to remove the current standoff on the unit. We want to ensure that there's a nice sheen to the bottom. If it's starting to look a little dry, we want to apply more coupling oil. We're next going to take the desired standoff. In this case, it's going to be a 20 millimeter. We're going to remove the dust cover. We're going to apply the standoff to the unit. Notice it's now going to register the focal depth as 20 millimeters with our energy deliverance. And then to run the unit, we have our shock counts set. We're going to press the power button. Once the unit achieves the desired shock count, it's then going to stop itself. And if we would like to treat again, we can reset the shock count by pressing the arrow or by pressing the power button one time, and then the unit's ready to be used again. Once we're finished using the unit, We're then going to power it down by holding the power button. We're then going to select power off. We want to remove our standoff, and we want to clean any excess oil by using a lint-free cloth. Once we've cleaned the oil off of the polymer from the standoff, there may sometimes be some oil that is right around the edge, which is acceptable and okay to have. What we don't want to do is try to remove the polymer from the base, as this is one solid piece. Once we've removed the excess oil, we're then going to apply our dust cover back on. We're then going to place our standoff back into the case in its appropriate location. We're then also going to clean any excess oil off of the unit itself using a lint-free cloth. We're then going to remove the battery by taking the casing off. The battery can be stored back in its location. We're going to put the battery case back on, and then the unit can be placed into the case for storage.